Okay, folks, so today we're going to make a little bit of country fried steak. Be my first time making it. That's country fried Seitan steak. So I have the ingredients here today and start off with the not beef cubes. And we're just going to drop in 2 of the beef cubes and turn down the water. So what I like to start off with is the liquid form of the dough first, okay, and then add the vital wheat gluten, okay, into the bowl, into the liquid. So the chickpeas are nothing but texture inside. Okay, so I mashed it up with a basic kitchen fork, just a little texture going in there. It's kind of easy just to mash it up. It doesn't have to be perfect. Some pieces can be bigger, some can be smaller. Not a science to that. Okay, so I have 1 cup of tap water. That was a little frothy because that's where the chickpea were in. Not a big deal. Okay, and then the minced garlic. Okay, with the minced garlic, if you don't like garlic, don't put a lot in it, or don't put any in it. Okay, this is really just the flavor inside of this non-beef patty that we're making into country fried steak. I like garlic, but I tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put about a teaspoon in there. I'm gonna put a teaspoon in. Okay, now I like things spicy. Folks, I'm making this up as I go, but I'm telling you it's gonna taste awesome. Not a big deal. I just like things awesome, and I kind of know what I like in my palate. So at the end of the day, that's a half a teaspoon of cayenne pepper, a little bit of spice. Normally I would put a little bit more in there, but not today. Okay, if y'all want to follow this recipe exactly, I'll be able to tell you what it tastes like before you even get started with it. Okay, so we already put the 1 garlic in there. This granulated garlic is going to be, it's not going to be overly garlicky in my opinion, because garlic on granulated and garlic on fresh do 2 different things. Okay, so what I'm going with is a half a teaspoon of this granulated garlic. Okay, black pepper, essential in cooking. Okay, my opinion. All right, gonna go with a half a teaspoon of that. Okay, you see a trend here: half a teaspoon, half a teaspoon, half a teaspoon. I find no issues with that, and most of the times when I do this recipe, well, like I said, I'm making it up. Half a teaspoon of onion powder. Throw that in there. Okay. So, I'm sure everybody got all that. And then what we're gonna do is I'm gonna do 1 tablespoon of some soy sauce. I'm leaving the salt out. Changed my mind. Salt's gone. We got beef cubes. Now, with the soy sauce and the beef cubes, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add 2 beef cubes to this. So, I'm gonna stir that up a little bit. I used hot water because I knew I was gonna use the bouillon. I want the bouillon to dissolve. That's why I use hot water. And that is the mixture that I'm going to add half a bag of vital wheat gluten in it. Half a bag of vital wheat gluten, if I'm not mistaken, is 2 1/4 cup if you don't have this Bob's Red Mill vital wheat gluten. Just stirring until I incorporate all the liquid into the dry, and you'll see it's forming up into a dough ball. That's exactly what I want. Okay, until it's fully incorporated. Once it's fully incorporated, I'm going to use my hands. Okay, dough, candy, you mix with hand. Now you see it's starting to, it's kind of like some of it's mixed and some, that's when I want to get my hands in there. I want to utilize my hands to grab all the moisture that I want to. In this process, as I'm kneading this dough, I'm not trying to break it apart more than it needs to be. I don't think there's an actual science to this. You probably get some of the edges off, dry off that edges. But the science that, not a huge science, but what I'm looking at is not trying to break it apart, keeping its form together, but working it so that the elasticity and the meatiness of seitan is in there. Okay, so here's my dough. I pulled it out of the bowl. And what I like to do is I'll work it a little bit on the cutting board, okay? And I'll kind of turn it into this log, kind of like a meatloaf. What I get, 10? Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Okay, like I said, it's not a science. Now I'm taking that one piece, okay, and I'm just mushing it into a patty. You don't want to get these pieces too big. They're going to explode, folks. They're going to possibly double in size. Okay, so I got my 10 pieces, all right, and no science. They're all going to be different sizes. So I'm just going to drop this down into the bouillon that I have. Okay, so it's been I don't know, about 3 minutes. Like I said, it's on high, and it's boiling pretty good. Nothing's sticking to the bottom. They're all just in there free floating. What I'm gonna do, like I said, I'm gonna turn it down, okay, to like medium low, and that's where I'm gonna wait for 45 minutes, okay, and I've had success with 30 minutes. I know what it needs to feel like, and you'll get to know your dough. But general rule of thumb, 30-45 minutes. Okay. Coming back at you after the cook time of it being in this pot. You see it slowed down a whole lot, but it's gonna roll up slightly a little bit once I place my lid back on. And I just know my pot here and how it works, and along with my stove. But you'll fill out your own equipment. Okay. Coming back at you. My 45 minutes is up, and I'm going to go ahead and pull out the steaks. Okay, and I'll put them over here on the sheet pan that has the grate. And what we'll do is I'll just let them sit on the grate, let them drain out for they can go all the way to room temperature. 15 minutes is fine. 10 minutes. Hey, you can cook them straight off after now. But what I find is if you let them cool down for about 15 minutes, it gets them closer to room temperature, and that'll allow you to batter them, okay, in any way you would like. You can take them from this stage that you have here and freeze them, refrigerate them, okay, or cook them finally. You can take this and put it on a charcoal grill. You can put it on a skillet with some oil and saute it with whatever you want. I mean, this is your cooked seitan, okay. But look at that. That's that first piece I had. So at the end of the day, really, this is what you're gonna take to put into and do other things with. But what I'm gonna do is I'm going to put some flour on that, batter it up, bread it up, that is, and fry it in a skillet pan and make country fried steak. Okay, so here we go. The last step, gonna fry it up, and so you can see it's still kind of juicy. It's warm to the touch. It's about 15 minutes, okay. And I have just some flour, salt, pepper, and a little bit of paprika in there. Whatever you want to bread it with, that's your call. You can milk dredge it. You could do a lot of different things going on here, but as you can see, I mean, it's sticking quite well, the breading, the flour that is, because of the moisture that's inside of that seitan. And then I move it over here into my frying pan. Okay, so I'm gonna fry it in I got a small pan today with some oil in there, just some canola oil, and we'll see how it works out. Okay, it's ready to flip, and we'll take a look at this one side. Okay, now see that's nice and golden brown. You see the golden going on over in here, and I mean it looks really tasty to me. So I'll come back to you when the whole thing is done and ready to be served up. Okay, here it is, final product. And I mean, really, the only thing I would recommend is a bigger frying pan. But like I said, I didn't have a lot of oil today, and just gonna go ahead and I work with what I had. But so that's it. Country fried steak. Okay. Oh, that side looks really nice. I like some of that caramel that I got going on in there. Okay. And I'm gonna cut it open for you as well, and then show you the inside. Okay. All right. So end result, country fried steak. First time ever making it, but I just thought it would be something different to do. This can be done the same way using the chicken bouillon instead of the beef bouillon. So I'll cut it open. Nice crispy outside, steamy inside. Okay, and it should have a good beef flavor to it. Really moist in the inside. Okay, for me, that's really good. I would love to have that on a sandwich or with some gravy slathered over it, just like some white gravy. And I mean, the breading's good with just some salt, pepper. Like I said, paprika. You don't want to go too crazy, but the flavor in the inside, that's what you're after. And it really is moist. And I mean, if you don't like it that moist on the inside, by all means, you can patty it off a little bit before you fry it. If you store it for a while, you're gonna have I'd like to put mine in the refrigerator, and just wrap it up with some saran wrap or something, or even put it in the freezer and then pull it out in that raw stage that I showed you after. Well, that's called the raw stage, but more so after you boil it into its patties, and then do whatever you like with it. But what I'm seeing right now, it's got a really good flavor to this. So you saw me start to finish with this. First time ever doing a country fried steak. I know where I can possibly improve a little bit on this myself, but that's what we do. We start somewhere and then we end somewhere, and then we try to make it better as we go. But very happy. All right, take care.